Hey, we back. I'm here on Karuta and I have a fun video today, that's for sure. We are talking about the dating game, which is part of the visit system, the affection system, that stuff. The dating game, it's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult, and it's kind of important as well. You may have noticed it if you've been using the affection system for a little bit. I'm going to pop KVI in, which if you are looking for the dating game, you're probably familiar with that command at least. So we have a date button here. You unlock this button when you get your affection rating above 20%, but up until you're near 80, the percentage chance of a date actually being accepted is very low, so I wouldn't advise going for it until you're pretty much at 80, because if you go for a date and you get rejected, you will be locked out of interacting with the character at all for I believe a full day. It might just be half a day, but it's something like that, and you don't want that to happen, especially since if you're going for dates, you're probably wanting that higher affection rating. But the dating game itself is kind of complicated. It gives some nice rewards. We can get some nice affection rating and affection points, and once you start getting to the higher affection ratings here as well, that's pretty helpful, because you'll start noticing that the talk action not really giving us anything. Let's see if we can get an example here. It's not going to load. That's fantastic. Let's see if we can get an example here. Ryuzu's very smart. There we go. Affection rating has increased by 0.56 points. So when you're below 80, this is always 3, but once you get above 80 and you get to enamored, it starts going down the higher you go up. So I just did a successful talk, but I barely got any affection rating. Dating is the way to go. So I'm going to press the date button. It's going to say you spend 2 energy, not 1, 2 energy to go out on a date. Based on your affection rating, there's a 100% chance they will accept, because I'm above 80, so I will ask her out, and it's going to give us this monstrosity here. Looks kind of complicated. That's mostly because it is, but it's not so bad. So let's take a closer look at this here. We have our little car in the bottom here. We have roads in a grid format, but obviously some of the lines have been cut off, and then there's a myriad of symbols everywhere. Firstly, the trees do nothing, so we can ignore them, and then there's a bunch of other possible symbols which we can go to and do stuff. You can see the car is currently at the coffee, and so I therefore have a coffee button. I can move my car around with the arrows. I can do the coffee, and it's telling me that the coffee is going to give me 60 drink if I use it. What that means is 60 extra value on these bars, specifically the drink bar. We have 5 bars here. The first one is for gas. The gas goes down by 10 every time you move the car, and if it reaches 0, you lose the date. The food goes down by, I think, 4 every time you do anything, and if it reaches 0, you lose the date. The drink goes down by, I think, 6 every time you do anything, and guess what? If it reaches 0, you lose the date. Entertainment goes down by, it might be 6 again? I'm actually not sure how much entertainment goes down, but it's something like that. And yeah, funnily enough, if it reaches 0, you lose the date. And then the last one is time. Time goes down by, again, I think 4 every time anything happens. And if it reaches 0, you win the date. Twist ending. You win the date if time goes to 0. So that is your aim, to try and get a time all the way to 0, which is going to take 25 turns total. So you need to spend 25 turns doing something. Moving counts as a turn, being at the coffee shop counts as a turn, anything else counts as a turn. And you need to spend 25 of them without any of these bars reaching 0. This is actually kind of complicated. Because you can only use each one once. This is not technically true. They refill after, I believe, 10 turns. But you can't just sit at one place and keep reusing it. So you're going to need to keep moving around and using different items to try and get all of the bars up while also managing the gas. So for instance here I could start with the coffee, and then I could maybe go around here and grab, this is a theatre, which funnily enough is going to get my entertainment up. I could go along another one, get the spaghetti, which is going to get my food up, and so on, right? But by the time I've done all of these 5 down here, I'm going to be over here somewhere. I'm probably not going to be able to get, you know, all the way up here for more food or more entertainment before my bars run out, because I'm all the way in the other corner. Estimating this game, firstly, is not a good idea. I don't know, maybe I could just go along here and grab all these and then go up here. I don't know, maybe I could. But the point is, you shouldn't estimate, because if you start trying to move your car around without knowing where you're going to go and having a route planned out, the chances are you're going to lose, because this game is difficult. Realistically, if you want to be winning it like every time, you're going to need to like memorize the values that each of these give and work out how close to 0 you are on each turn, figure everything out in advance and get a route plotted. Of course, in reality, that's difficult, and so there's a lot of tools to help you do it, one of which I will be using shortly. Firstly, however, I'm going to mention a couple of special squares on the board. Most of them are self-explanatory, you know, theatres, entertainment, coffees, drink, sandwiches, food, and also drink, actually. But there's a couple of special ones. So, for example, we have the house up here. If you go to the house, it ends the date early. Time doesn't have to be at 0, and that still counts as a success. This is not a bad thing. You get slightly reduced rewards, but actually if the alternative is losing the date, just go for it. Going home is fine, and at least you get some reward. It counts as a successful date as well, so if you're just trying to get the first date so you can go over 80, then, you know, just go home. It's easier. It's fine. Next we have the airplane. What this is going to do is reduce your entertainment by, I believe, 10 and completely re-roll the board. Now this is just not good. Firstly, because it's completely random, and I just said you want to plan out your whole route. If you're planning out your whole route, it doesn't include this, because it's random. But also, it's going to put your car all the way back down here. There could well just be a bunch of stuff out here, and it might screw you over. Plus, it's reducing your entertainment, and you have to actually go there first. So just all in all, I would say not to use it. That's not to say that I have never used it. I've used it a couple of times, and I've used it and won the date a couple of times. But it's difficult. Only use it as a last resort, I would say. And I would say use the house over the airplane if you're in last resort mode. There's also 2 other squares which only have a 10% chance each of spawning in. Neither of them are on this board. But the first one is the mall, I believe, which has a picture of 2 little shopping bags. And that gives you 30 affection points. Just by going there, even if you fail the date, it just gives you 30 affection points. And then there's also a ring shop, which has a ring in it, which will give you the ability, I believe, to propose. I think that's what that does. Which is going to give you just a couple of nice buffs in the affection system. It's nothing too major, but if you want to go for it, then yeah, absolutely pretty nice. So yeah, that's all the squares. That's how to play. Now, how to win. Winning is, of course, the complicated bit. So I'm going to take you over to this site here, or rather this spreadsheet, which will be linked in the description. This is one that me and many other people appear to use. I found it somewhere, probably on YouTube, to be honest, maybe on the official server, I can't remember. But yeah, it's pretty good. I also hear that there is actually a bot that will figure it out for you. I've not used that, so I can't vouch for it. But yeah, the point is there's a lot of tools to help out with this, because it is kind of complicated. This is the one that I use. I think it's kind of nice. It enables you to figure out what your route is going to be, so you're still playing the game and figuring stuff out, but at the same time, you don't just lose the date unexpectedly because you didn't plan it. So, how does this whole thing work? Firstly, you're going to want to be on the calculator sheet. We have these 2 other sheets. Airport is ignorable, and guide tells you how to use the sheet, which is what I'm doing now, so you can ignore that one as well. Haha! But yeah, so you want to be on the calculator one. We have a bunch of images here for each of the squares on the board and the movement tokens as well. I mentioned the shopping mall and the jewelry store. That's what the images for those look like if you weren't sure. Each of these is going to tell you what the effect of that particular square does. So for example, the coffee shop we saw was giving 60 water or drink. Of course, this has been reduced because it also takes up a turn. So while it gains 60, you also lose 6. You lose the 4 food. You actually lose 8 entertainment. I guess I was slightly wrong on that one. It's 8, not 6. So there you go. So yeah, we've got all the values here. The fare, I believe, is the only one that gives all 3 values, but there's like the sandwich that gives 2, for instance, so you can mix and match. And then there's things like the ballroom, which actually gives some pretty hefty negative values, but then for some big entertainment there. So yeah, it's all a toss up of which ones you want to go for. But when you've got these, each one has some aliases that we can put underneath. I'm just going to use the letters. You can also use the words. Any works. And I'm going to start off just by putting M in all of those squares. Just get a blank slate going. We have no extra stats. This is the spreadsheet assuming we move every turn. And we can see the stats that we're going to have. So we start off with the beginning stats that you saw with 100, 350s, and 100 on time. Now that's actually wrong because entertainment starts on 75. It's clearly fine because we got 75 up here and it clearly sorts it out there. But that's funky. Should we change this to 75? There you go. Fixed your sheet for you, person. Fantastic. Anyway, yeah, so we can see the stats each turn, and you can see if you just move every turn, you will lose the date by turn 9. That's barely a third of the way through, so you need to do something about that. Also worth noting that the first thing to go will be your drink. Assuming you stop off at a couple of places, the fuel will last a little longer because of course fuel only goes down when you move the car, not just when you're sitting around. But the drink is going to go down whatever you do, so you need to get a drink pretty quickly. But yeah, entertainment and food don't last too much longer than that, so realistically you want to get them all pretty quickly. So let's have a look at our date game here. We can try and plan out a route together to explain how the spreadsheet works, how the dating game works, and then we can go through it at the end and see if it works out. So for a start, let's just try going along this thing that I said earlier along here. I'm going to, rather than taking the coffee instantly, going to go around the 2 squares because of course we have the cap of 100. If I took the coffee right now, it's going to give me 60, and that's going to take me to 110. Of course I can't go to 110, so that's 10 liquids wasted. So we'll drive round the coffee first, which will be move, then I'll take the coffee, then I'll take the theatre, right? So then I can go into the spreadsheet and we've got move, then we go for the coffee, and then where's theatre? Can I find it? There's theatre is R, so then we go for R. As you can see, stats extending out. The next thing that is now going to kill our date is actually gas and then food rather than entertainment and drink. Good stuff. Let's go back to our dating game. We are now here, and we could go this way to get some food, but remember we are going to need gas as well. I'm not sure if we can make it all the way around there. Gas being 10 turns until we run out of gas, because it's 10 per turn, we have 100. We can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we can just about make it with gas. Okay, so let's keep on going. We'll go for another move, and then we'll grab the Italian, right? So we've got another move there. Then I'll grab the Italian, and then I'm going to move here, and I can grab the nightclub and the theatre. My Discord dinging, which is unbelievable. I'm going to switch that off, actually. There we go. Right, so another move, and then we've got the nightclub and the theatre, which, sorry, not the nightclub and the theatre, it's the nightclub and the ballroom. Which order should we take these in? It looks like our entertainment is already pretty high. Actually, if we take the nightclub, that's probably going to cap it out anyway. We might not bother with the ballroom because of the negative stats it's giving. I'm just going to take the nightclub. because that's like I say, that's gonna cap that out anyway. Our stats are looking pretty good now, so we'll actually ignore that ballroom, shall we? Alright, so we ignore the ballroom, we are now here, and I want to go straight for that gas, because otherwise I'm going to be running out. So we can go move, 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 and we can consider getting the juice, and then 2 more moves, right, to get the gas. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves, and then the gas. But I could fit an extra drink in here, so I'll think about that. We might add that in later. It's just an extra thing that we can do on the way past. But of course, our drink is actually pretty high at this point, so it is nothing that we particularly need to worry about. I say that though, and actually, there's not much drink up here. It might be worth taking on the way past. Should we grab it on the way past? Let's grab it on the way past. So it's actually 3 moves. Then we get our juice, then 2 more moves, and then the gas. Right, so there we go. We're now here. We're looking pretty good on the stats, and on the board we are in between these 2 little gas stations here. Right, I'm thinking we should go up here and grab this other stuff. So this is going to be move, 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 and then we can grab the sandwich. We have quickly run into a problem though, because as you see, our entertainment is about to run out. We only have 2 turns left to get it. We're currently at the sandwich. Thankfully, we're next to a flower. So we can grab the flower right away, and that's going to max out our entertainment. So if we can go here, we can put the flower garden there, and that's going to sort that stat out. Move the spreadsheet along a bit, and we've basically won now. As you can see, there's no negative stats over here. There's no zeros, except of course for time. So we could just move around for the entire rest of the game at this stage, and we would actually win, which is great. But as you can see, the rewards at the bottom, measured in AP for affection points, go down as our resources go down. So we should try and get a few more at this stage, just to up our points. But for now, I'll leave this open because it doesn't matter too much. Let's actually go through the route that we've got so far and see what happens, because it should work. So I'm gonna run this command again. It won't let me put these in otherwise. And then we're gonna go. It's like Pac-Man. So when I go up here, it's going to put me here, right? So we can go up, and then we can go right. You see how the movement works, hopefully. Now, am I taking the coffee first or the theatre? I've forgotten already. So let's go back to the spreadsheet and have a look. You can see I went here for the coffee and then the theatre. So let's do it in the same order just to be consistent. We'll go for the coffee, and you can see it's put this is a kind of see-through-y symbol now. It's still there. It can come back in 10 turns, but we can't use it right now. The symbol is not going to work here. Right, so now let's go for the theatre. Then we go for the 1 move. I'm taking the spaghetti. Going for the 1 move. And then grabbing the nightclub. If you remember in the spreadsheet, I said we would ignore the ballroom. So after nightclub here, N, which is going for 3 moves, and then straight to the juice. So let's start going up that direction now. 1, 2, 3. We're now at the juice. I'll grab that, and then we need to go straight for the gas because we're going to run out otherwise. So there we go. We actually get to pick our gas here. No, I'll pick this one. Doesn't make any difference, obviously. I didn't even realize that would be that one, so there you go. Now we're going to start going up here. We can grab the sandwich, and then as planned after that, the flower garden. And we are now at the stage where we finished the route plan on the spreadsheet. We've grabbed the flower garden, and that's it. We can chill for the rest of the run. We have won. But, like I say, we might as well try and get some more of these stats. So our entertainment is pretty much capped out. We can, of course, get this food value up, but I don't think we're going to be able to get back down here. We've only got another 5 turns to go, and the entertainment isn't going to make too much difference because we've maxed this out already. So what I'm thinking is we might just do a loop around the taco to prolong taking that, because the taco is going to get us, I think, 60 food points, which at the moment would max this out. So we'll get the taco as late to the end as possible. I'm just going to do a loop around the taco, then grab the taco, and then end it off. This doesn't need to be planned particularly because it doesn't matter so much. Like I say, we've already won at this stage. So let's just do a nice little loop around the taco. Fantastic. And then we'll take the taco as our last action. And we won the date. I really like it when we spend time together. The date was successful. We've gained 5.47 affection rating and 34 affection points, which is not bad. That's helping out. Now I can try and do another date, but it does have a cooldown of 10 hours there, so I can't actually do another date. So you're doing, in theory, like 2 of these per day, and they're getting you, well, that one got me about 30 affection points, which is not bad. Certainly a lot more than the talking is going to get, and especially where the affection rating is concerned, as I mentioned at the start. We're not getting anywhere near 3 affection rating at this stage, and it's only going to go down as my affection rating goes up. This will be the case with any character, obviously. Would I ever fall asleep in public? Yes, whenever I feel like it. I'm good at getting Ryuzu's questions. That's why she's so high up. Let's go. But yeah, so that is the dating game pretty much. I think I explained it at least reasonably enough that you can probably get the gist. Like I say, I will put that spreadsheet link in the description. You are going to have to make a copy of the spreadsheet like I did. If you see here, this is my copy of data tracker calculator rather than the original one. Just make a copy, store it wherever the hell you feel like, and bookmark that is what I would suggest. And then you can just do whatever the hell you want with it, which is pretty nice. But yeah, it's a good spreadsheet. It's very helpful. You don't have to use this. You don't have to use anything if you don't want, but I really would suggest using something to keep track of what you're doing, because it's very difficult otherwise, and certainly you're not going to be winning many dates by winging it. You do want to be planning out where you're going to go, because sometimes the dates really need a specific route, and you think one way is going to work and it just becomes impossible. So yeah, good fun, but it's a nice little mini game, and I enjoy it. It's nice to have, and why not? So yeah, there you go. I will leave this video here anyway. Bye.